Hi, hello there, and welcome back to the 3-hour news show. It's time for you for joining us for our special segment, City Stories. We're talking about city stories right now. I want to ask both of you guys. Are you love to read comics?
Do I love to read comics? Yes, I do.
I'm
I
a huge
read-
fan of comics.
A
Yeah.
huge fan. So, what was your first comic?
First
Ever.
comic, I don't remember, but the last comic I read was Captain America.
That was the last comic. Back in the days, if I'm not mistaken, I read Doraemon a lot. I read Doraemon a lot, and I read Detective Conan,
Detective Conan, right?
of course. So most probably, my childhood was filled with Japanese comic books.
So you were educated by comics.
Yes,
Yes.
I was educated by comics, but also I love to read the comics from Marvel. So that's why
Marvel,
right
yes.
now I'm quite a Marvel fan.
So I'm on your side, Hans. I also I was
Conan.
influenced by Japanese comics.
Japanese
Japanese
comics.
comics.
Actually, my first comic when one of my friends brought Candy.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
But, you know,
one.
know.
that series, Candy Popcorn and Marichan, you know,
Marichan,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Crayon Shin-chan.
Ryan
Ryan
Shin-chan,
Shin-chan
and then
too.
moved to Crayon Shin-chan and Tiger Wong at the same time.
Like, well, yes, that's
So
right.
it's mixed from the girl side and
Yeah.
boy side. Okay, although nowadays we can find a lot of Japanese comics, so people
Yep.
are influenced by that, or manga. Did you know that there are also Indonesian creators that write and draw comic books?
Ooh.
So, and just like manga, which often rich in Japanese tradition, these Indonesian comic books are also filled up with local culture. So let's see, from 1940s to early 2000s, Indonesian often found local comics in newspapers and magazines as a form of comic strips. One of the pioneer of local comic was Xiao Tikwe, who first published his drawing in 1940. He also published a comic book entitled Xie Jinku, which was adapted from a Chinese hero legend. After Xiao Tikwe, there were also other action comic books by R.A. Kosasih. One of Kosasih's prominent brainchild was a superwoman character named, it is so Indonesian, Sri Asih.
Wow.
So in 1980, local creators need to compete with their Japanese, American, and European counterpart. Unfortunately, these imported comic books are more popular among Indonesian market. However, nowadays with the help of digital era, local comic creators can start their breakthrough and display more artworks in digital platforms.
And Sri Asih has recently became a live action and movie.
Oh.
Yes, starred by Pevita Pierce.
Pevita Pierce.
So that Sri Asih is in the universe of Gundala.
Yeah.
So the
right.
Bumi Langit universe. Oh, I
You love
am so eager to watch that.
So if we haven't read the comics, so we can
Yeah, we
the
can also
series-
watch the movie.
first, yeah?
It's always interesting that you read the books or the comics first and then
Then
you
watch the movie,
But-
or vice versa, yeah?
Question.
Yeah.
Which you like better, the comic version or the movie version?
Usually the comics.
Right?
Yeah.
That's also the case with me. I love comic very much, but once it hit the cinema,
screen, yeah.
the screen,
It's so different.
it's different. It feels different, right?
That's true. That's true. All right, so now we get into our topic today. How can Indonesian comics compete with comics from overseas? Let's find out the answer with Sweta Kartika, a comic artist who brings Indonesian culture to his artwork. Good afternoon, Sweta. Thank you for joining us on the 3-Hour News Show. We want to see your face. Where are you? Oh, there he is. Hi. All right, so good afternoon. So congrats, you have made comics with Indonesian touch. But the question is, a lot of people or many comic publishers, they want the Western comics. But you introduce Indonesian culture into your artwork, which is comics. So how do you compete with that kind of competitors?
Well, I think culture is our richest and also our identity, so that's why we can go overseas with that. I think so. That's the first value to bring around when we go to international market. So we can easily identified as Indonesian.
So it's like giving a different sort of idea, something fresh to the comics
Yeah.
world, right?
So probably the question that
Yes,
has been bugging up in my head for quite a moment, for quite some time, with the making of comic book, is it different from the one who draw it to the one
illustrator.
who made the story?
According to the style, in Japanese style, all the creators write and draw the comic.
Oh,
Yeah, yes, it's a type of culture.
Ah.
When you go to Western, like Marvel or DC comic, they have their own writers, their own illustrators. Even for the letterers, they also have this vision.
So this one is
see.
authentic you. You created everything. You created the drawings, you created the
Yes,
words, the stories.
I heavily influenced by Japanese comics, so
Ah.
I create and I write one title.
So I was about to ask that about your where did you get the influence? So you've mentioned a bit, but I think we still I'm curious for my side. When did you start being a comic creator? So did you take also like a formal education for this? And how is your journey until you in your position right now?
I don't remember I have like academic tools to make a comic. I do autodidactly.
Ah, that's amazing even.
Yeah. I think all of the creators I know get from their sketches and from the comic they read, and they influence, and then they create their own titles.
Right. Now, a lot of people read anime comics, like
Yeah.
anime. But how do you endure to create comics with Indonesian culture while people mostly read anime?
I mean, you mean Japanese comic or
Yeah,
Yeah.
Japanese comics.
animation?
No,
I mean,
no, Japanese
manga.
one. Yes.
Manga.
How can you? Yeah, manga.
Manga, yeah. Anime is short for 2D animation in Japanese.
Oh, anime is
Ah.
Japanese animation. So
All
yeah,
right.
there are
Sorry about
different
that. Yeah.
entities.
Well, as you can see that I have heavily influenced by Japanese manga. For me, is their work, their work for me is reference. I grew up with them, so I think it's good. Everybody does. Everybody does. My friends does. And so I only put the cultural content, but how to tell the drawing, I learn from them.
But Sweta, from a comic book, what do you think is the most important thing to draw the attention of the people who read it? I mean, for the successful comic books or successful comic stories, we saw like lots of themes and also lots of topics that they brought. But what is actually the most important factor of a comic book that could draw attention from the reader?
I think I don't know. I read comic because I love the content. I read horror stories because I love horror. I like action comic because I love actions. Maybe the interest of every factors different to each reader.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
So it's different from one to another, yeah?
Yes, it's according to the changes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's talk about your comics right now. So, how many comics you have created so far, and which one took the longest process? Please share with us.
I haven't counted how much, but I think it's about 12 to 15 titles. And some of the titles right now is still ongoing. It's maybe the longest title. And
Well, do you mind to spill your current project with us?
We are so persistent in that way.
Yeah.
well, usually I create one title to a season, and a season I create for 1 year.
Uh-huh.
For one
Wow.
season,
takes a while.
it consists 24 episodes maybe.
Oh.
That's how I can get that. Then for a year, I currently create 2 or 3 titles in a year. So that's why I have so many titles to do.
But you know, the things about everything Indonesian or everything locals, domestics in our country, let's say, the dream collectively is about going global. But how do you think about, what do you think about the chance of Indonesian comic creators to compete globally?
Well, as I said in the first question, so the culture, the main identity. So as long as we bring the culture into our creation, maybe that's a passageway to go overseas. It's by international.
So it's about the authenticity, is that what you mean?
Yes, something like that.
So your comics, does it have a lot of Indonesian, you mentioned about cultures, right? And it says one of the richest thing that we have. So when reading your comic, it is a lot of stories that is with Indonesian background. Will we find that in your comic? And how do you make it? Is it in English or in Indonesian? And if we want to penetrate the global market, how do you actually, sometimes when you change the language into a different one, it doesn't really match the meaning to it somehow.
Yeah, well, there's language boundaries. One of my titles, Nusa 5, is published internationally overseas by Sweta Kartika. It published also in Singapore in English language. But I have an editor that teach me to, I don't know what to say, that internationalize the content. Like, to locals, I have to create it to form it into the international taste. Something like that. But all the terms, the naming, the artifact name, the settings name, I keep it as Indonesian.
Okay, so you have to keep it relatable to the international market,
Definitely, yeah?
I see. All right, Sweta, thank you so much for your time, and also we hope that we will see lots of your new creations. As you told us, you have some ongoing projects. We will be waiting for that.
If you're running out of names, we have Hans, Alia, and Akhir here. And you can also put that in your comic
the name of our characters, comic characters.
Yes, thank you so much, Sweta.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Bye.
Wow, that's very interesting. I mean, it's not so hard. It's not so easy, right?
Yes.
When you want to bring our story to the international market. And as we see also movies that has backgrounds. For example, even in the Marvel stories, usually it depicts like Indian culture or some other things.
But like Miss Marvel, but Pakistani culture.
Pakistani with some Muslim religious background. So, but international market can still enjoy it.
Yeah, but the way that the comic creators make it much more relatable to international market, like let's say Miss Marvel, the Muslim Pakistani living in the United States.
Yeah.
So that is more relatable for the readers in that.